Hello and welcome to Voices of Parenting podcast. I am so glad you're here. My name is Mussi Diskin. I am an advanced nurtured heart approach trainer. I am a parenting coach. I am also an inner wealth coach, which means that I help people rediscover and connect to the people that they truly were all along, but may have gotten forgotten along the way. So to find out more about me and what I offer, you can check out mussidiskin.com, contact me through there, respond to this podcast, find me on social media. I would love to connect and I would love to hear your feedback. To sponsor a Voices of Parenting podcast episode, please reach out to energizinghearts@gmail.com. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I am back here with Lexi, part two. Go back to our part one to hear more about her story and how she evolved into being such a creative creator of nurtured heart inner wealth creations and resources. But this time we're gonna it's our last episode, but this time we're going to kind of hear more of those practical ideas and stories of how of what Lexi does and what she offers now. If you'd like to look her up and find, she's created greatness activities that you can buy and use in your classroom and all that, which is fantastic. So thank you, Lexi, for that service to the community. But yeah, what sort of activities have you done? What are some of your favorites? And how have you seen them play out in your classroom?
Yeah. I was just looking at my wall, and at the beginning of the year, I had my kids create vision boards. And so I had printed off all different kinds of things for every category you can think of. I had pictures of what a child might like as far as like candy, sports, what they like to do for fun, what's their favorite food, what do they want to be when they grow up, what's their favorite sports team, and then like pictures of families. And then I took a picture of each student and put it on there. And then I printed off different character traits. And they got to choose what character traits that they wanted to put on their vision board as far as what they wanted to work towards being throughout the rest of this year. And it turned out so cute. And it was a really fun project. I had sent home a picture of one of them to one of my new students, his mom, and she had sent back like, "Oh my gosh, thank you. I have never received something like this of his." And he is in kindergarten, but this was like in February or no, January. So, I mean, 6 months of not receiving anything. And then the mom, the vision board being sent home. It was just like a really cool moment, I think. Just like, wow. I don't know. It sounds cheesy, but like, well, I am making a difference. Even just building that connection with that mom has been huge. And which leads me into my next thing. I don't know if Sarah created it or I don't remember, but it's based off of her book, Tell Me About Your Greatness. And so I fill one out every day and I send it home daily for him. And I call it a greatness sheet. I send it home daily. I try to use it for my kids who are intense and don't often, sometimes it can be really hard to find positives for them. And so I try to make it a point to send it home daily. And it has profoundly impacted the relationship that I have with those parents.
I'd love to hear what's on that sheet, like what's on that greatness thing you fill out every day.
Okay, so I folded it so you can't see the name, but it says how, let's say, Johnny, or what was how did Johnny show his greatness today? And then all the different um, character traits, I guess you could say. And then I just write down like how were they helpful that day, or how were they energetic. Um, and yeah, I think it's a great conversation piece too for parents, because a lot of, kids go home and you're like, well, what'd you do today? They're like, I don't know, or nothing. And this gives something positive for them to talk about with their child, when a lot of the students that I work with, it could end up having a lot of negative conversations at home.
Absolutely. So
Which
many
what
times,
went on?
even in a typical classroom, what parents end up hearing the most are the times that the kid acts out or isn't, is getting in trouble, and then that's what we know about what our kids are doing in school. Like,
Yeah.
not every kid is talkative. Not every kid shares. Do you fill out every one of those greatness words, or just like the ones that jump out at you, a few every day?
Yeah. Yeah. I do like 5 or 6 every day.
Wow. Well, that's a
Yeah.
lot of work for you, and that's incredible that you do that. Those kids are so lucky, and those parents are so lucky. And I can only imagine the circle of, you said, like, I am having an effect, like the circle of effect that has, because
Yes.
for the cycle,
Yes.
because you're creating connection between the parents and the children that's positive, because now the child comes home and the parent is happy to see them and excited to know the good
Yes.
things and smiles at them, like even
Yes.
just smiles at them. And
Yes.
there's this
Yeah.
moment of like, we can be proud and we can relax that our kids okay, and that
Yes.
we're not failures as parents, and that our kids not just wrecking school or wrecking the world. Like, a lot of times parents
Yeah.
have so much fear around what's happening with their kid, and there's so much out of their control when it comes to things like school. And so it feels, well, really in all parenting, but especially in school, you're not even there, and so there's fear of judgment and fear of future. And
Yes.
like, this is like, oh, look, our kid is good.
Yes.
Which then opens the door for that sort of peaceful connection. So that's such a huge thing to bring it home. I love that. And I guess, is that a resource that everything you're sharing, is that stuff that people can find on with your,
Yep. That one's free on my Teacher Pay Teachers. Yep.
so
I
cool.
have a bunch of some of my favorite ones are free on my Teacher Pay Teachers.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's fantastic. Thank
Um
you.
I was going to say, oh yes, like with most of my intense kiddos, those parents know that their child has behaviors. So my thought on it is that they don't need to hear every day that they did this, 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 and this, when they know that that's what they're doing. And so that's where, like, yes, it is important to acknowledge those behaviors. And I, as the case manager, want to know them, but I don't believe that the parent needs to be contacted every day on them when they know that their child is struggling with that already. I would rather send this home daily to, I guess, build on, like, just kind of like the circle you just said, on the parent and my relationship, but then the parent and the child relationship, and then the child and my relationship. Just everyone.
Absolutely. I love that so
Yeah.
much. It's so different, I think, than what most people think. There's so many times where I hear from parents, and then as a parent, and then also speaking to teachers, where it's just like, well, we have to call the parent. The parent has to know. We have to let the parent know. But like, for what? Because if we're looking at those long term, right, nurtured heart is not about the moment. It's about that
Yeah.
long term growth of a person, of greatness. And when we're talking about what will actually help, like a kid who's struggling, what will help to like have the struggle be like following them around also after the moments of struggle, and also at
Yeah.
home, and also, and it's like more conversation and more
Yes.
shame and
Yeah.
more,
Their energy's all wrong.
yeah.
Yep.
And then whereas it's like, we all know, like, yippee do, this kid has behaviors, yay.
Yes.
Um, but like, let's have moments of connection. Let's build opportunities and moments of connection, because those moments of positive connection give the child another option for the rest of their
Yes.
life.
And I
be
think
a
it
good
opens
kid.
up, like, the child's eyes, like, "You are doing great things.
Yeah.
You are great."
Yeah.
And a
Already.
lot of yeah, I know, a lot of even, like, the kids I'm working with now, when I have said, like, "You are" whatever trait that I've said, there is no confidence there. They're like, "No, no, I don't. No, I don't, Miss Kindred." Like, "Yes, you do." So, we're
how do you
working
get
on
past
it.
that? What's
Yeah.
yours? How do you get past that? How do you get them to believe it?
I think just, um, like, not giving up, being repetitive, and continually to showing them all the things that is or that are great about them.
Yeah. It's that portfolio. It's building that new portfolio.
Yeah.
Eventually, there's enough evidence that they can't really refute against it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, do you have one more for us? One more activity or resource that you do?
Another thing that I've done is create affirmation bulletin board sets or like affirmation mirror sets. And that has been really fun to make. And I think I went into creating those as how to um, intertwine these character traits or the affirmations within general ed classrooms and just a way that teachers can do that. Um, and just, I tried to do a bunch of different themes. And so I did like a donut theme, a coffee teacher tired theme, um, a frog theme, a Taylor Swift theme. There's a couple more, but it's not coming to me.
I love
Yeah,
that because teachers are always looking, especially in the younger classes, for like they have their units. And
yeah,
so to do similar activities for the same units, it's almost like you want to incorporate, your math and your science and your language all in a certain, time of year or season or theme. And here you're having greatness and inner wealth be one of those parts of that unit. Like
yeah,
we're talking about frogs. Let's also talk about inner wealth. Like
yes, yes.
that a part of it.
Just connect it all. And I think that's where the crafts come in as well. Just another way for teachers to incorporate it in the gen ed classroom. And so some of the crafts that I created are like a ice cream cone. And then the different layers of ice cream are a different affirmation. Or I have I think I called it the greatness tree. Um, that was Sarah Howe's idea. She gives me some of my ideas. Uh, where, yeah, it's just the kids more of like an analogy of, you know, how do you want to grow your greatness? And just what affirmations or what character traits do you think represent you, or what do you want to work towards? And so I also made those in my classroom, and that was really fun. Um, yeah,
These are some great ideas, Lexi. And what I love most about all of it, and specifically that first one that you said with I've had my kids come home with, in the beginning of the year, sort of like a vision board, a little bit of a different setup maybe, but the idea of like, what do you want to be when you grow up, and your family, and draw a picture of your best trip or whatever.
yeah,
What I love about what you're bringing to all this is that we want our kids to connect with certain values and morals and ethics, and we want to teach those lessons, but so often without nurtured heart, it becomes sort of like those lectures of like, a good friend does this, and a good citizen does this, and a good student does this, and this is what you should, when we're
yes,
telling them all the things they're not, or
yep,
assuming that they're not, even though they
yep,
very well might be. But
yep,
we want to make sure to teach the lesson. So we're telling them what they need to be or should be. Whereas you flip that on its head, where you're discussing all of these important values, character traits, morals, ethics, all of these things, what makes a good student, what makes a good citizen, what makes a good family member, what makes a good, neighbor, et cetera, et cetera. And you're having them own it. You're having
Yeah.
them explore it, discuss it, think about it, draw about
Yeah.
it, whatever the activity is, in a way that it's something not that they need to be and should be and have to like, change. It's something that they actually
Yeah.
already are. And even the parts where they're reflecting on what they want to grow, it's coming from them.
Yes.
It's like, this is who
Yep.
I want to be. It's building their identity where it's
Yes.
growing
It's
their
giving
inner
them the
wealth.
power. Yep.
Yeah. This stuff is
Yeah.
fantastic. This stuff is gold. So tell our audience, Lexi, for those who haven't watched the first episode, where do they go to find these activities and crafts, or to connect and find out more about what you offer? How do they find you?
I created my own teacher pay teacher store, so that's called Inspire uh, Greatness Within. And then I do have a blog that's at lexikindred.com. And then my email, if you'd like to contact me through that, is lexikindredcreations@gmail.com.
Awesome. And Teacher Pay Teacher, is that a website? How do we find that?
Yes,
Since I'm
Teacher Pay
not
Teacher
familiar.
is a website. And I believe if you just type in Inspire Greatness Within, I should pop up.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much for giving us your time and your wisdom, and for so freely offering and courageously
Yes,
offering to the world what you've created, so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel, and that people can have, like you said, general education, special education, any classroom, they can
yes.
have these great resources. What a gift. And yeah, keep shining, Lexi. You're
Oh,
you're
thank
lighting up
you.
all these hearts. It's so beautiful.
Oh, thank
Thanks for
you.
being here.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, wait, don't go yet. Take a minute to find the beautiful quality that you have, that you appreciate about yourself.